Let's quickly go over looking at a chart. This is a typical chart. Without having any experience looking at charts, this can be intimidating. If you've seen the trend indicators video in the POP program, then a lot of this should already be familiar to you. But we are going to remove some of these lines for now. Okay, much better. So this is Apple's chart. What I want to do is show you some of the basics on this chart if you're not familiar with looking at it. In the top left, we have the stock name along with the price that it is trading at. Below that, we have the date, the open price, meaning the price it opened at each trading day, as well as the high for that day, the low price for that day, and the closing price for each individual day. Each individual green and red bar is 1 day of trading. Anytime the bar is green, the stock finished higher than it started that day. If the bar is red, it finished lower than it started that day. The red and blue symbols signify an earnings call, which happens 4 times a year for most companies, and it's just the company reporting how the previous quarter went financially. The green symbol with the dollar signs is a dividend date. The D you see in the middle of the screen allows you to change how far back you can look at that chart. So you can look at the previous 5 days, the previous 6 months, the previous 2 years. It's up to you. Now let's add some moving averages to it. When looking at a chart, you always want to see how that stock is trending. And you can use moving averages for that, which just shows you how that stock has been trending for a specific amount of time. The purple line is a 20-day moving average. The yellow line is a 50-day moving average, and the red line is a 200-day moving average. If, for example, a stock starts to trend below those moving averages, you may want to adjust your option trading strategy to capitalize off that direction change. Another trend you will want to pay attention to when looking at a chart, if you are bullish on a stock, is if it is making higher lows. What I mean by that is each successive dip in the stock is higher than the previous dip. That's just one of many ways you can see how a chart is trending. Inversely, if a chart is making lower highs, you can see how it is trending bearishly or downward. That helps you to pick the proper option trading strategy. Another thing with this, there will always be support and resistance lines that stocks need to break through in order to establish a true direction. Using the 200-day moving average is a good way to do that. Looking at this 200-day chart, you can see this common resistance line that the stock tends to reach and pull back. For this particular chart, this would be your resistance line. Once the stock breaks this resistance, it is an indicator that it will go up some more. And in that situation, you could take advantage of that and pick the proper option trading strategy. Let's quickly look at volume. Typically, what you will see is the more volume a stock has compared to the volume it usually has, the larger the move will be that day. You can use the call and put sizzles to determine if the volume is higher than usual. Visit the PLP program in the trend indicators video for more on those. One more thing, let's take a look at the pricing screen. You will have your expiration dates, the expected move up or down by that expiration date, the bid price, which is the latest price for that option, the ask price, which is exactly what it sounds like. Now, there is a lot more on this screen, like the Greeks, but that's for another day. To finish up, let's look at this chart here. It has sporadic dates listed as well as a 200-day moving average. Let's say, for example, if you're looking at this chart around 7/21 or July 21st, you notice the stock has dipped below the red 200-day moving average and the yellow 50-day moving average. That would raise red flags on this, and you wouldn't necessarily be fully bullish on it yet. Then you notice it starts to make lower highs, which we just talked about. In July or August, you could have entered into a bearish option strategy on this stock after looking at these technicals. That's just one way of looking at a chart and using the pattern of the chart to your advantage. Obviously, there are a ton of different ways to interpret a chart, so use whatever works for you. Hopefully, this helps in your trading portfolio.